just want to say, now we're live, I want Microsoft to be good. I really want. I love my Macs. I love my iPhone. But I mean, there are just better, faster computers for Microsoft. I just want it to be awesome. I want it to be great. I have this incredible computer that's like the super wide screen. It's beautiful, and it's just crap. And it's just like I am so tired. And so I sit there and I'm like, oh, it's updating. Okay, update is fine. Updating, gets to 100%, stays there. Restarts, then starts updating again. Restarts, then starts updating again. Restarts and starts updating. I'm like, it's still doing it right now. I could turn this around. If you look, I sent a picture to you guys.
Take all the
look closely at the second picture I sent you.
Take all the Microsoft computers and do a disco night at Comiskey Park. Blow them up.
They are not a sponsor, obviously. Did you see the last picture I sent you guys? I don't know if you looked closely at it.
I didn't look that closely.
Just look closely at it for a second. There's a joke in there somewhere you'll find.
The second one. All right, let's see.
But look at my reflection. Sorry.
Yep, I see it now.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Why are you apologizing? That's exactly how I feel most of the time.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, anyway, there you have it. Let's start. Well, we already started, but let's start the show. I mean, I'm sorry, we caught Jillian mid-eating a pear, but we apologize.
I thought it was going to be longer.
I don't blame you at all.
How long does it take to eat a pear? Seriously.
Well, I'm trying to be quiet about it. So
I'll just
microphone when I bite in.
It's not easy. It's not easy. No. All right. Now you're gonna play with me. You stay there. You stay. All right.
The world is against you, Eck.
My studio hates me.
But I want to say, hey, look at this nice shirt from Quotees. It's a quote from David Wright. Very nice.
Nice.
Wait, I can't see it. Do it again.
Let's do it again. Yeah, do that again so we can see.
It's a quote from David Wright from the Mets.
Ah, nice.
They have a hockey line coming out too, apparently.
I have a shirt that's just like that. That says It says "Ain't no party like a Gatsby party," because the Gatsby party, someone always dies and everybody ends up disillusioned by jazz by the end of it. It says.
Is that the whole quote is on that shirt?
The whole quote is on the T-shirt.
That's a long quote.
What was that from Baz Luhrmann?
I don't know. It's pretty awesome though.
That should be from longassquotes.com.
Yeah.
Is that a real website? I have to imagine it is.
I need sleep so badly. I am so tired. I can't even begin to tell you. I
was actually going to say one thing we should talk about today.
Yes.
Is stupid things we've done because we are sleep deprived because of the playoffs. Because today I tried to drive through the cash lane when I have an Easy Pass. And it's a $50 ticket, in case you're wondering. It's $50.
There's nothing more infuriating. I've done that too, and it makes you feel so unbelievably stupid in every way.
So dumb.
Do you like
Easy Pass, for those of you who don't, it's like this automatic toll paying thing everybody has, and we call them Easy Passes. There's Sun Passes in Florida.
I don't have one.
What? How do you not have one?
What's wrong with you, Russ?
There's nothing wrong with me. I don't
You drive from New Jersey to Pennsylvania all the time.
I don't trust the system. I don't think, other than driving to Manhattan, which I don't do much, I don't think it's a big help. And I'm telling you, one day you will start to get tickets from getting from Atlantic City to Pennsylvania too quickly. You watch.
That's such an easy way. Always thought that too. I said, why don't they just take it? They know what time you get on. They know what time you get off. There's simple math here to tell how fast you drove.
I don't have an Easy Pass, and I don't even have a Nexus card, and I cross into Canada once or twice a week. So.
What do you guys wear? Are you guys?
I live in Massachusetts and drive into Boston, so it's a necessity because traffic. Also,
really bad.
They can look at the time I left and the time I come and whatnot, and I'm sitting in traffic, so they'll never be able to tell.
It looked like you were going 10 miles an hour no matter what, right? So. No, I mean I can't say it. Like we had an Easy Pass that my wife's got a new car and she forgot to move the Easy Pass from one car to the other. We were driving to the shore, and she's like, oh, we'll just go in the. I'm like, no, we can't do that. I'm like, just drive through. They'll send us a letter. I'll send them that we have the Easy Pass, and I did. They sent us a letter. I sent the Easy Pass. You can if you don't, it works fine.
But here's the thing. I don't drive to the shore much. I don't drive to the city much. I do my hockey trips, but that's about it. Otherwise, I don't drive in traffic. Why the hell?
Man doesn't know where you are, man.
Actually, no, I shouldn't give you crap because I didn't have one. Until I moved.
So many people don't have them. I mean, it's not.
I mean, I cross the border at non-peak time, so it's so easy. The Nexus really doesn't speed up at my trips at all. And I learned the hard way regarding in Canada. I don't know they have this anywhere in the States. They have these express toll roads, and I didn't know about it when I was going up to see a junior game, Mississauga versus Sault Ste. Marie, and I took this. My GPS led me down this toll road.
Oh boy!
About a month later, I got a bill for $27 Canadian because I went down this toll road for 15 minutes.
Yep. No, they had that on the way to Baltimore the other day. That we ran into one of those express toll roads. They're pretty cool if you have the Easy Pass thing, because you're just.
I was wondering why nobody was around.
Here's the craziest thing about them. Ready for this? The speed limit is 10 miles per hour faster in the express, which is nuts. I mean, that's just nuts. So like when we're looking there, it's like 55 miles per hour, but in the toll lane, it's 60.
That doesn't matter in Canada, Eck. The speed limit is 100 kilometers an hour.
I know. In Canada, you can marry your sister. I mean, we're talking about Canada, but it's like this is not.
Wow. What the hell?
I need sleep, man. I am dying. The playoffs have taken me apart. They literally have taken me apart.
Playoffs yesterday. What were you watching? The NBA?
No, I couldn't go to sleep. I was up till 3 in the morning last night just because I'm used to being up until 3 in the morning nowadays. Now. I've adjusted. My whole body's adjusted.
Actually, I was up until about 3 in the morning too. I may be suffering from the same thing because I couldn't get right to sleep either.
I watched the entire series of My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend last night on Amazon.
Wow.
Was it good? Do you recommend it?
It's hilarious.
I recommend half a Benadryl. That's what got me to sleep.
I went to sleep early because I couldn't face the fact that most people in Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, and one other state are.
That was super disappointing.
I did vote yesterday. I did, but I mean, yeah.
I also feel like when I got a decent amount of sleep last night, but I feel like my body's not used to that, so it's almost like we wanted more. We're gonna make you sleepy.
Yeah,
the only thing I'll say about the election. I'm not even going to mention a candidate. The fact that there used to be 414 polling places in Rhode Island and it went down to like 183 is a joke. I don't know what's going on with the voting system, but that's why everybody feels like it's rigged, because they make it incredibly hard to actually cast your vote.
If only we had some way that we were interconnected with the entire world in our own homes.
Oh, wait.
Somebody just posted a picture of me online during doing the webcast with. It's not exactly complimentary.
So show it.
Oh no, that's not.
There you
I
go.
didn't see it. Oh, is that a drawing of you?
No, I think it's just like a cartoon image of me, I guess.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
But he says you guys are the best, but apparently he doesn't think I'm the best because he makes me look like my high school machine shop teacher.
You are kind of like a high school machine shop teacher.
Yeah.
You are like that, you're Michael Jello / that guy who made you take metal shop.
Let's start the show, shouldn't
All right. You want to start the show? Is that what you want to do? What are we doing here today? I got a chicken calling the other room. What the hell's going on? All right, ready?
I like the chicken.
Don't encourage them, Jill. Don't encourage them.
Sorry.
I like them deep fried.
Yeah. All right, don't encourage them, please. All right. Hello, Hockey World. It's Wednesday, April 27th. Oh, wait, hold on, Mike.
Do it again.
If we
Hello,
only
Hockey
had
World. It's Wednesday, April 27th, 2016.
I'm Michael Agello.
I'm Jillian Fisher.
I'm Russ Cohen from Sportsology.
And I'm Eklund, and you're watching HockeyBuzzCast on HockeyBuzz.com. This is a podcast that comes to you every Monday through Friday around this time, and I was just changing the camera view with a mouse that's connected to a computer that isn't on. So I apologize that you just saw me throughout all the introductions there. But yes, I'm back and really ready to go. And we were just talking about how tired we are, and despite not having hockey, but I'm glad the NHL has decided to do this weird time travel thing tonight, where we start off in this first round, in the second round, and go back to the first round.
I think this is the first time since I think they said 1983 that there was an overlap.
Were you even alive in 1983, Joe?
No.
Ugh.
89.
Oh.
Everyone's shaking their heads at me.
Now
like
it's
it's my
done.
fault.
I'm just gonna put this mask on and shoot myself in the backyard.
Yeah, I'm gonna just walk off.
If you ever find, if I ever do kill myself, it'll be in this mask in my backyard, so you know. And it'll be because Jillian was born when I was in friggin' college. That's why
I'm putting the
I
down.
wish I was in college then.
Yeah, I'm putting the down payment on my mausoleum right now. Jeez.
That's all right. That's why we're here. Okay, we're here to talk, not the mausoleum part, but we're here to talk about we're here to talk about hockey. And let's start by talking about the games tonight because that's where we should start. And then we got some other fun things to talk about too. And then we might have a guest visitor later. I don't know. I'm not sure. He's up for it. But
he's here. I'm pretty sure he's there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he might be.
Pretty sure he confirmed. It was definitely confirmed.
He did confirm, and we paid him his per diem. But we'll see what happens. All right. Okay. So anyway, tonight, before we get into the second round, let's finish off the first round and talk about what's going to happen tonight. Mike, it was funny. The other night you sent me a text after I was proven right again. And by the way, I think you owe me a shirt. But
oh wait, no, somebody does owe you a shirt.
They do owe me a shirt.
No. See, we don't owe you a shirt. You just get to pick out your own shirt. That was the terms of the bet.
Right, I get to pick out my own shirt that I have to buy myself.
Wait, I'd also like to add.
Wow. What are we living in?
That was the way
Chicago.
you set it up.
That's the world we live in. Okay. So I have the right now to buy my own shirt that I.
And you have to compliment him. That was the deal. I remember that. Russ, you have to compliment him.
You have to compliment it, and you have to like it, and you have never pick on my clothing again, ever. That
was not the deal. That was not the deal.
No. You're
gonna
buy it
anyway. Right after St. Louis gloriously wins, and by the way, since I wasn't here yesterday, can we talk about that winning goal for a second? Because I mean,
sure.
I know you guys probably talked about this, but Brouwer, what a crazy game-winning goal. I mean, this guy is the guy who scored the other game-winning goal that we all remember so well, right? But this in Massachusetts. But this one was this is so funny because he hits the post and then it's like the most awkward thing in the world after he hits the post. His skate, like you can tell so much he wants to kick the puck in because his skate goes towards the puck. He's like, no, I can't do that. And then Boylan, sorry, that was Boylan. This is Brouwer. I apologize. I guess I haven't had any sleep. All right, so Brouwer.
That's the coverall excuse here.
And then Brouwer manages to score still, but it was incredible because like the post is one thing. It's like whoa, and then almost like really. Like just stopping almost had him kick the puck in, so he had to like do an awkward stop where he dug in deeper into his blade. That was amazing. I mean, that was just a hell of a goal. I mean, it really, when you think about it.
And it totally justifies him getting ice time over Tarasenko.
It does, and it means once again that Hitchcock is right, and we're all idiots. But
oh yeah, okay.
It justifies the Oshie trade, right? Because that was Brouwer, correct?
He might be the only coach to get to the conference finals and get fired.
I mean, if they don't make that trade. Braden Shen's not suspended for no reason. So that to me is.
I don't know if it's no reason.
Wow.
He didn't get suspended for cross-checking somebody in the knee. So I mean, even if that wasn't a 3-game suspension, he still got off easy in the long run.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not French because obviously if you're French, no, I'm gonna get everybody mad today. But Letang, you know, he's fine.
That wasn't as deliberate though. I still think it was kind of deliberate, but I don't think it was as bad.
And listen, I am a Braden Shen fan, but he does always leave his feet when he hits people.
I mean, he's not known for being like a very clean player.
I don't think he's a dirty player. I just think that is the way he checks people. I think literally, I don't, you know, he does leap into players for whatever reason. And he's not the biggest guy. He's big, but he's not super big. You know, like he's not.
Apparently, when he was a kid, he thought he was Superman, so he had to jump off the bed a lot.
Anyway, we really digressed off the rails there. But I'm just saying. So what I'm getting back to the other thing before that, I said, and before the Oshie thing, and before Boylan and Brouwer and all that stuff. I forget what I was saying.
The text.
You were talking about the goal in St. Louis.
Oh, the text that Mike sends me. So when it all happens, Mike sends me a text, and I will quote you. He says, it's the year of the chokers. All right. So my response to that.
Wait,
okay.
what?
My reaction to that is exactly what? First of all, because in context, I'm thinking you are now making fun of. You're saying that the Kings and the Hawks have choked. That's the first thing that comes to my head.
No.
I know, that's the first thing I thought.
I get what you're saying now. I get it now.
Hold a second.
He was saying it's the year that the teams that usually choke don't choke, is what you were saying. Because I'm like, man, I'm right. Now you're just saying they choked. That's like the real.
No, there's no denying that the San Jose Sharks, the Washington Capitals, except for last year, and the St. Louis Blues have been chokers.
And the Islanders, put the Islanders in there too.
And the Islanders for
a couple decades.
For a couple decades. But
so,
what I'm saying is right now they have all overcome. They all they beat LA was favored. They beat San Jose beat LA. LA. St. Louis beat Chicago. Washington should have won against Philadelphia, but that was a team that, if there was that gag
No, it was close. I mean, it really was. I mean, they could have very easily been in that. You're right, Mike. We could have been talking about a Game 7 tonight with the Capitals and Flyers, with one bounce. So.
And the Islanders got outplayed by the Florida Panthers in that series and still won. So I think it's the year of those teams finally getting past that mental block.
So I've changed this to my more positive spin, Mike. As you went the year of chokers. I'm saying it's the year of the Dragon Slayers. Like that's what it is. To me, this is let's go a little Game of Thrones on everyone's ass here. This is the year.
We're talking about sports.
No, but this is the year of the Dragon. I mean, we slayed Chicago, we slayed LA, Washington slayed their ghosts, the Islanders slayed their ghosts, and now tonight we have the fifth in our series of possible dragons to slay the Anaheim Ducks at home in Game 7.
Well, just before that, we have to talk about the troll job that the St. Louis Organists did after Game 7, as Handshake Alley was going on. The organist played Chelsea Dagger.
Yeah.
Oh,
he did.
And I thought that was pretty good. That and the picture, I think it was Steve Ott's son, son or daughter. I don't know if it's son or daughter. They didn't specify, but it was a picture of a baby. It was obviously Steve Ott's child, and the picture was of Steve Ott's kid going.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Okay.
About that, we'll get into that. That's
this is the most. See, I'm not on board with that because the handshake part is the most dignified thing in sports, and it actually shows good sportsmanship. And the two things you just explained to me are not good sportsmanship.
No, I do agree with that. I do respect the good old-fashioned, sharp-witted organist, though, because that's something that we used to have in hockey a lot more often. Like I remember when a guy would have a game in the Spectrum.
I don't think that was the time or place.
It wasn't. But in the old Spectrum, when a guy got kicked out in a game, the organist would play "Baby Come Back," like on the.
That stuff's all great, but this is when series is over, and just let it be the way it is. Why do you have to add that extra little aha? It's like, why don't you act like you've been there? How about that?
Maybe you would have had to.
They haven't. That's the problem.
Ooh, burn.
They haven't. That's the problem. It's like, gee, when was the last time that the Blues won a round?
Yeah, I think that there's just a lot of pent-up craziness. I mean, it was so funny to watch the Blues and the Sharks, for that matter, pretend like, oh yeah, this is just one series. Now we got to win the rest, because this is obviously not just one series for either of these teams. This is as good as winning the Stanley Cup almost. It's like it's really just below that. It's not. I mean, beating
but you can't take all that emotion like that, and you can't have that letdown in that next round, because then
but I think
even worse than.
I just think that it's obvious, and now and tonight, like I said, we have another one of these situations. We have Boudreau now, who is 1-5, and they said this 100 times on XM today if you were listening at all. They said Boudreau is 1-5 in Game 7s, and Laviolette is 5-1 in Game 7s.
It's still meaningless.
No, I think it's totally meaningless too. It is like that. It is as meaningless as the plus minus stuff.
Year to year, game to game, team to team. These are two different teams.
Yeah.
See, I don't think it's true with. I'm going to say Laviolette's is totally meaningless because it has nothing to do.
I mean,
but
you can't.
We're 3 years in a row that Boudreau has lost with the Ducks in overtime in a Game 7. That does
at home too. Every time at home.
At home.
One of those victories of Laviolette's was when the Sabres' top defenseman or second pairing defenseman was Jeff Gilson, because everybody was injured.
I'm not. Like I say, but I think the Boudreau. That's why I say this is the fifth possible dragon to slay in the first round, and I don't know if we ever had a year like that where normally.
Yeah, it's just the year of the upset. We did say that it was crazy this year to try and pick it, and maybe that's why your picks look so good.
Hey, wait! I had
I don't even think it's good, Joe.
I picked the Hawks and I picked the Sharks,
That's
and I
right.
did it, and I was confident until the Blues lost Game 5, and I was picking the confident.
You broke records.
Making fun of me, Russ. You can make fun of me all you want.
This is the year of the contrarians. Of course.
No, it's not. No, I'm not. No, these are not upsets. Okay. I mean,
I don't think the Blues and the Hawks is really an upset.
Every team
is home ice advantage. I mean,
every team is perfectly matched. There's no upsets. You're right.
The Capitals were better than the Flyers.
The Stanley Cup team gets eliminated in the first round. That's not an upset. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying it's not an upset. I'm just saying that the Blues were pretty well matched against the Hawks.
No, they were.
Yeah, If the Flyers had beat the Capitals, that's absolutely an upset. And the Hawks being eliminated in the first round, yeah, that's not what many people were picking them to win the Cup again this year. So, but that does not discredit that the Blues are a talented team.
No, we all knew they were a talented team.
And yes, they're Stanley Cup champions, guys, but this is not. I mean, bring back Brendan Saad, Patrick Sharp, and Johnny Oduya, and it's a different.
It doesn't matter. You're still the champion. Like, you can't.
Right.
As a champion going into the next year where you follow up your cup, you cannot be the underdog. It's just impossible.
Okay, well,
instead of Brandon Saad being on the left wing with Kane and Taves in Game 7, it was Richard Panik.
Right.
Right. That's a big deal, but still.
It is a big deal.
And that's not taking away anything from Richard Panik because he actually played well in the last couple games.
Anisimov was not good in the playoffs. I mean,
no, but he was great all regular season.
He was great regular season, but he's been. This is not normal. So I don't know. And tonight's not an upset if the Ducks win, obviously, but
I don't think it's an upset if either team wins. I think this is the most evenly matched series that there was, actually.
Wait, so do you think that it was an upset for the Sharks to beat the Kings? Because I do. I think that was an upset. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the 2-3 matchups in the West were ridiculous because they were two really good teams: Kings, Sharks, Blues, Blackhawks. In the East, Tampa Bay, Detroit. That was I know people thought Detroit was going to be more competitive. I didn't particularly. And then in Rangers, Pittsburgh. People thought the Rangers were going to be more competitive, and it didn't end up happening. Those matchups ended up being completely one-sided. But in the West, I mean, I've heard people say after the first round that it's a shame that LA and Chicago and some of these other teams got eliminated, and we should go back to a 1-8, 1-8.
No. See,
everyone stop complaining, please.
Yeah, it's not a shame. If you were good enough, you'd have won. I don't mind this format. Actually, this format brought back Flyers, Rangers, which I had missed for a lot of years. This format's brought back a lot of good matchups.
Yeah.
It has.
Also, what I like about it, too, is it gives you – I feel like it does set it up for some possible better matchups in the first round. And when there's lots of hockey on, the better those matchups are in the first round, the better it is. It's just the better that first round is. That's like the best round of playoff hockey. It is. Not that the other ones aren't, but that first round, man, when you get good matchups, so much fun.
Well, the retrospective analysis is that, a Washington-Pittsburgh matchup should be the conference final. And instead, we're going to have Washington or Pittsburgh versus Tampa in the Islanders, and that's not as pleasant.
How do they know? How do you know it's not going to be a good series?
I'm just making that argument. I'm not saying I agree with it.
Even from a marquee standpoint, if Tampa is in there against either one of those teams, how is that even unexpected? I mean, that would happen almost any.
Tampa was a great team all season long. People should not be disappointed that they make it to the conference finals.
Right.
It's unfortunate they've had unfortunate injuries, but that can happen anywhere. So think about if Tampa doesn't have injuries, you're going to pick them to go to the conference final.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
I think that the system works as is, and if you keep changing it, it's even worse. Stop wanting changes. Accept the way it is. Learn to love it, because it's probably not going to change.
I made a drawing to Mike, make another one. He earned it.
All right, so I'm going to tell you how we should change it then. We should change it.
Oh, do not.
No, the one thing, I actually, I was talking to somebody the other day, and this is funny he brings up, and I wasn't going to talk. This is like a summer topic, but we will bring it up at some point. Someone brought up the idea to me that if you win your division, you should get to pick who you play in the first round.
No, that's ridiculous.
I thought that's pretty interesting.
Can you? I want to hear it out. Before I say it is ridiculous and why, I want to hear my counter arguments.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So second and third. So and I think we'll hold off on this because I think this is a really good topic we'll talk about over a day. But there's something to this. I do believe.
Well, I know what you're saying, Ek, and it's a logistical nightmare for.
Well, not really. I mean, because it's not like. It's not like we didn't know. The
owner picked his opponent. He did.
They did kind of pick them, and logistically.
And how'd that work out?
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think actually that it would really be interesting because I do think that if the first place team picked the team they were going to play, I mean that's a huge
material
blackboard stuff for the team that's getting picked. Like, oh yeah, you picked us, fine, we'll show you what it's like to pick us. I think that would.
I get that, but also the Game 7 Blues-Hawks game was the highest watched first-round series in the network's history, NHL and NBC's history. So it's not that long of a history, really, but
Right.
you don't get that matchup if you're picking, because the Blues are not going to pick the Hawks as their first-round.
No, I mean, those were the third and fourth best teams in the league.
Yeah. It sucks that, yes, it does suck that a good team, like 2 Stanley Cup contending teams, one of them gets eliminated in the first round, but guess what? The better one came out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would rather see or talk about like an NHL highlights film done in Play-Doh and let somebody do stop motion. I would rather watch or talk about that. That's just me.
We can talk about that. Save that for the summer, too. By the way, what do you think of this?
Is this really real?
This is real. I talked to somebody. Yes, it is.
I don't like it. It looks like a soccer emblem.
I also don't know why they did it. I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually think that the Panthers. I agree with you, Joe. I think the Panthers got it right the first time.
Well, I saw somebody put that side by side with the Jacksonville Jaguars emblem, and it looks very similar, except they're like facing each other. And
I see that. But to
the
me,
Jaguar has the teeth.
It doesn't look like a hockey logo.
No.
That's the problem.
No, it looks like a soccer.
But, that's
like soccer.
It does. It looks like soccer.
And I'm not
the
like
thing. They
belittling
need to have a
soccer
retro
either.
jersey. like they need to be able. They need a new jersey so they can bring back another jersey, which is their jersey that they have now. So they need a retro jersey.
They don't need one. If you don't have a good one, you don't have one.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's totally
tell
fine.
me
Your current
what's
logo is
wrong with
pretty
this.
awesome. Yeah, like that's a cool logo. Like
Right.
I did. I've liked that. I've liked the 3D Panther for a long time. I think it's really cool. I wanted that when I bought. I don't often buy jerseys of expansion teams, but I bought that jersey right away when they came out. I thought that was cool.
But you're just looking at like all the other logos behind you, Mike. I'm like, look, I'm pointing like people can see me pointing. They don't match up with that new logo. They're just too.
This is purely this has got to be purely a marketing thing so they can sell new jerseys because there's no reason. I mean I get it. I mean the Leafs are changing their emblem to an older emblem and after 46 years, so it's.
But it's an older emblem. Like there's something
It's
there
a
to that.
traditional emblem, and this franchise, since they're only 20 some odd years old, they're going to they have no old emblem to go back to, so they're going to a new one. But if you think about it, like Buffalo, I thought Buffalo's changes when they went away from the traditional buffalo with the 2 crossed swords, and they went to the decapitated goat's head, and then the garden slug. I mean, they were terrible, and then the thing is, the fans hated it. Now, this is a sort of a non-traditional hockey market, and maybe they're trying to, get more interest with a new emblem. But if there are fans out there who have like old jerseys, they're going to say, okay, now you're switching over. Now I got to spend $150 on a new jersey, and I don't want to.
Maybe they're going more for T-shirts because it's hot down there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that could make sense.
Making a
Jerseys, yeah.
Men's crop shirts, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's totally.
Nobody wants to see a men's crop shirt. Nobody.
You never know.
But also, I don't know
Like that area of the
if
country,
Whoa. If you have a men's crop shirt, chest hair will be popping through. You don't want to see.
Have
Nobody
you
wants.
walked on South Beach?
Yeah. Also, just men's crop shirts shouldn't be a thing. That just
Lots
shouldn't be a thing.
of manscaping needed. Thank you very much.
There's lots of that. Anyway, let's move on, please.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a less disturbing topic.
Yeah, it's a less deserving topic, like
Manscaping, yes.
like
Wait,
Steve
we haven't
Ott's
talked
kid.
about actually tonight's Game 7, have we?
We didn't. Well, we didn't yet. Actually, it's true. Thanks, Jill.
Keep it
I just brought up that there was another Slain
Back on
Dragon.
track.
What do you think? I want to say this about Game 6. Pekka Rinne got it together. That was the game that Pekka Rinne had his best game in the series. And if Pekka Rinne has a great game tonight, that's exactly what the Ducks don't want to happen because the Ducks have shown a propensity to lose against tough goalies. They also scored some goals on Anderson.
And if Pekka Rinne maintains that trend, he'll have a great game in Game 5 of the regular season next year. You got to have the number one goaltender be better more than 1 every 6 games. And I thought he was average up until Game 6. Now they need him to do what he did in Game 6. They needed not to stand on his head, but to be the backbone of that team, to make the big save and give that team an opportunity to win. Now, I think Anaheim is going to be challenged, especially since that they have had a propensity for losing Game 7s at home. I think they'll be holding their sticks tight. I heard the thought that they should emulate what the Hawks did and put Getzlaf and Perry together on one line. I'm not so sure about that.
They did that at the end of Game 6.
Yeah, I would actually go for that. I would go for that. I like Anaheim in this game, but I'll say this. I mean, look, Nashville has a lot of things going for them. There's no question about it. Look, at some point, even though you've lost all these Game 7s, it doesn't mean you're not going to win one. I think that's sort of like a weird premise. I think if the refs let Shea Weber do whatever he wants to do, like, Shea Weber's like the new Chris Pronger. Like, he basically never gets in the penalty box anymore. He can pretty much do anything. If they tighten that up a little bit, I think the game will actually tighten up a lot. I think that's something that's gone against Anaheim a lot. But at the end of the day, I think this probably looks like a double, triple overtime game. And I'll take Anaheim, but I think that's the way it looks.
God help us. That'll be like, what, 2:30 in the morning?
No double, triple overtimes.
I mean, that would be great.
But you're young. What's the difference?
I have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
I shouldn't have to take Michael at 3 in the afternoon to take a nap.
Take a nap now and just stay up.
I have a kickboxing class I have to go to still today.
Wow.
Killing me.
Nice. Remember that, guys.
Yeah, I take kickboxing. Say more sexist things to me, and I take kickboxing.
I'm not messing with you.
Not you guys. Not you guys.
I would not like to see her and Robenheimer in a battle. Anyway, so let's go to the matchups for a second. Because the matchups, I wanted to talk about the matchups in the first round, which were very, very correct again. Like I always say, no one ever believes me. But they were really, really close. They got, as of now, they've gotten 5 of 7, but perhaps 6 of 8 games right. The only ones, and they got them right, like crazy close. Like it had matchups. Remember, had the Flyers over the Caps in 7. That didn't happen, but could have. Had the Penguins over the Rangers in 5, which was exactly right. The Panthers over the Islanders in 6. Stop it. Had the Panthers over the Islanders in 6, and that didn't happen. But we saw 3 overtime games, right? So I mean, that could have gone any which way. The Lightning over the Red Wings in 6. Of course, the Lightning won in 5. It had the Ducks over the Preds in 7, which is still possible. The Sharks over the Kings in 7. The Sharks won in 6. The Stars over the Wild in 6, which was correct. And the Blues over the Blackhawks in 7, which was correct. The matchups have been like crazy good.
Also, I'd like to add that mine were more correct than yours because I got the Flyers losing and I got so I am actually doing the best. I'm just gonna put that.
You're more correct than the matchups, actually. No, I actually picked the Predators to win the series. I actually picked the Predators to win the series in 7, but
I lost my picks. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I knew I got the Caps right in 6. Other than that, I don't know.
So let's talk about
what was that, Eck?
No, go ahead. So one of the interesting things about tonight's game is if the Predators win this game tonight, the way that sets up the matchups for the rest of the way, which is that the Preds were to win this game tonight, that would mean that the Blues would beat the Capitals in 7 games for the Stanley Cup. And if the Ducks win tonight, that means the Sharks will win the Caps in 7 games. So there's a little bit something to think about, just on terms of how this all plays out. But
wait, we escalated so quickly there. How did this happen? How did we go from?
Yeah, it's minutia. It's math. It's math.
No,
I hate math. You guys know that.
Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference because we have a couple games here that we can talk about, right? So and moving on to that, I think we should move into that for a second because while we have Jillian, let's talk about the Caps, Pens, and the Islanders in Tampa here. All right, so Islanders in Tampa first. I'll tell you the matchup first, and then we'll let why don't you start with this one, Russ? The matchup in this would have the Islanders over Tampa in 7. Now the Islanders have won 4 of the last 6 games, including 2 of 3 this season. So that's for what it's worth. Russ, what are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, the Islanders are on a little bit of a roll. There's no question about it. They're youthful. They've shown an ability to come back in games. The defense is tightened up. Although Ryan Pulock now is going to be out 2 or 3 games, so that's going to hurt them a little bit on the blue line. They're going to probably put Streit or someone like that back in. So that hurts their depth a little bit. They still don't have a ton of scoring. Tavares has at least crossed over, at least to whoever wasn't paying attention, into one of the best players in the league. I mean, we always thought he was, but he used to get maligned pretty well when the Islanders would get eliminated. Like, hey, when's John Tavares going to step up? Well, he stepped up. and I'm sure he'll continue to step up. I still think Tampa's got too much for him. I really think the difference is, and I know the Islanders depend on their fourth line, which will definitely help them, and I think Tampa with Hedman will match up with that fourth line. They have size, and I think that's going to do something. That's something where the Islanders didn't have that matchup in the first round as much. I mean, look, Ekblad's Ekblad, but he's still not as big as Victor Hedman. And so I think
But also, they've been playing Hedman so much, and you saw it in that game, again, Game 5 against the Red Wings. They have him averaging like 29 minutes, 27 minutes a game. And in that Game 5, his puck control was horrible. He was turning the puck over. It's just he looked tired. He did, and I know they have rest, but if they're going to keep playing him,
they do have rest. They have the better goalie, and I think they have more offensive depth. I do really think Tampa will win this series, but I think it's going to be a really good series. I think it'll be Tampa in 6, though.
I mean, one of the contributing factors to Hedman, maybe having some problems is that Stralman was out, and Stralman was his defensive pair, and I think he paired up with Schuster, and he probably had to do more, carry the ball more without Stralman than he did with. I mean, to me, and it's not only Hedman, but Schuster, Carl, Coburn, their defense is bigger. They can withstand a ferocious forecheck from the Islanders. And honestly, most people agree the Islanders were outplayed by the Panthers. They won the series. They won the games. Greiss wasn't as much of a impediment as people thought he was going to be. I just don't think that they can do it 2 series in a row. They're going to have to play better than Tampa, and I think Tampa is the deeper and more experienced team. They did go to the Stanley Cup final last year. I think they have the better goaltending. I think they have the deeper forward complement. The only thing that Islanders have is they have the superstar guy. They have the best player in the series in Tavares, and maybe that can make the difference, but I don't think so. I picked Tampa at 6.
What do you have, Joe?
I actually have the Islanders in 7.
Nice.
I mean, part of it also for me was I know that the Islanders are banged up too, but I just see the Tampa Bay Lightning being a little bit more banged up. Injuries have really taken a toll on them, and for me, the Stralman injury with relying so heavily on Hedman was a little bit worrisome for me in picking the Lightning. Also, Greiss, if he plays the same way that he plays in the Lightning series as he did last one, I think he can go pretty close to toe-to-toe with being a good goalie against a monster of Ben Bishop. So I don't doubt that Greiss can handle that. He proved that he could do it last series. And also I worry about Tampa Bay's non-power play goal scoring. They didn't score a lot of goals not on the power play, and their power play alone wasn't that great either. I think they went 4 for 23. So their special teams aren't that great either. So I think it's going to be a great series. I think they match up a lot better than people realize, but I have the Islanders in 7.
I like it. For those keeping track, Yaro Halak did have a full skate today. And I don't know, I mean...
They're not pulling Greiss.
No, you're not pulling Greiss right now.
Yeah, we talked to Dan yesterday, and he said that it's unlikely that Halak would get into this series, or at least early in the series, because Greiss is playing well. I do know that they did send Christopher Gibson, one of their backup goalies, back to Bridgeport. That means that J.F. Berube is the backup until Halak is 100%. So maybe they think Halak can be the backup by the middle of the series, and then maybe be an option if Greiss drops the ball. But right now they're going to stick with Greiss because he got them through the Panthers series.
Yeah, they'd have to stick with him, I would think. I hate predicting Islanders series because it's just like the last one. I really had a hard time with it. I went with Florida, and my gut kept telling me to go with the Islanders, and this time I'm going with Tampa, and my gut keeps telling me to go with the Islanders, which is really weird. You can't
hedge it both ways. Make a pick.
No, I know. I'm making a pick. I'm going to say this though. I'm going with Tampa in 6 for pretty much exactly what you said, Russ. All the same reasons that you said. I really think that they have more than Florida had. Florida and the Islanders were so even in that series, I felt, and I just think Tampa is a better team and for now. I mean that could change next year. The Panthers could be, but I think that the experience that Tampa has.
Florida's not the fastest team, and Drouin's going to give them trouble too. I mean, that's the one thing. Florida because of Yager, that first line's slower than a lot of other lines in the NHL, and now they're going to be facing one of the fastest teams.
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw like Huberdeau was, his first playoff series for a lot of these guys. This is not the first playoff series for Tampa, and I think that even the fact that Stamkos is skating with them, even though he's not going to play till the finals, probably is just is a big deal. I think it gives the team a lift. Like, okay, we got to keep going for Stamkos to get him back in this thing. I think that, and I also think that Bishop is just way better than Luongo. Like, I think that that's the other thing. Like, I just think that Luongo had a really tough series in my mind. I know he made some big saves, but just didn't make the key saves that Bishop has been known to make. Bishop is a big-time key save goalie. So I'm going with, but this is the thing about this Islanders team. This Islanders team, there's a little bit of like a destiny feeling to this Islanders team that's starting to rise up within me. That like there's this whole thing of like they just have, I mean, the way they win games and the way they even down the stretch, the way they came back against teams, they have a lot of guts. This Islanders team, they have a lot of fight in them. They are definitely not, they're not your parents' Islanders.
Do you guys think that the Lightning might be a little bit gassed, like just a little bit tired? They had a deep run last year. They are banged up now. The last series, they luckily only had 5 games, but I think this one could be a long series. If they get out of it, do you worry about how they play against in the other ones, or do you I think that has an impact on them in the outcome of this series personally, but...
Well, I think right now what's happening is they're doing a really good job. Cooper's doing a really good job at playing that up. And he's doing a really good job at playing up the fact that everyone's counting them out because of no Stamkos and no Strawman. He's one of those coaches I love this time of year when coaches sit there and have their press conferences and tell you how much better the other team is than them all the time. That's like it's great to say, oh yeah, we'll be lucky to even skate on the same ice with that team. Look how good they are.
The thing is that gumption that you're referring to with the Islanders only gets you so far. I mean, it's admirable that they did that against Florida, but again, Florida, I believe, outplayed them in the series. They won game, the double overtime game where Quine scored that goal. They were down 1-0 in Game 6. It was probably going to a Game 7 until the referee decided not to call the penalty on the
That does not make that game different, though. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I think the game should have been over at that point because that was likely the goal that makes it 2-0, and then you don't know what's going to happen in Game 7. I mean,
but here's the thing. That is like me saying ninjas came into my office today, and then later I walked in front of a train and it hit me, and that's why the ninjas are what caused me to get hit by the train.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Wait, I'm trying to picture that. Hold on to it.
There's ninjas.
Wait a second, Julie.
By a train, I was trying to picture.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the ninjas made you go not take a flight and go to the train, and then you get killed by the train, then the ninjas killed you.
No.
So there you go.
Yeah, this is specious arguments is what we're calling it.
The Panthers should not have stopped playing and let them. The puck was sitting there, just sitting there. Why? There was no reason. There was 55 seconds left. Get back and play defense for the last 55 seconds.
Here's another factor, too. I like the Islanders' grit and the forecheck, and I think some guys have stepped up. They don't get a lot of scoring from their blue line, and now with Pulock out, where's the blue line scoring going to come from? Tampa's going to get some scoring from their blue line. They're going to.
But what happens with this generally is grit, grit plus success turns into confidence, which turns into a lot. Like that's like
question. Couldn't you argue that 2010 Flyers team was going off of grit to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Oh, yeah,
Their
totally.
starting goalie was... Where is he now? I mean, they didn't.
Sure. But they had some elite guys. They did have Pronger, they did have Briere, they did have Gagne. They did have some elite scorers. The Islanders lack, other than Tavares, they don't have a lot of elite scorers. They don't.
No, they don't. But they've just been able to come back. I mean, they just have shown they believe in themselves, and that grit has turned into confidence. And confidence is a killer thing in hockey. I mean, that's the That's the miracle on ice thing. I mean, that's what when you're confident, you just are a different team.
I think they have a lot of skill too. I do, and I think the grit for me, the grit on top of the skill. That's what I have it going to 7 games because I think that these teams are very well matched up together. I think it's gonna be a hard fought series. I just see, for me, I'm thinking that the Islanders have a little bit more in them than the Lightning right now.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's hard.
Maybe Cal Clutterbuck will score a hat trick. Anything can happen, but it's just Tampa is deeper. They are.
I want to talk about one more thing before and then I'm going to get Jillian's pick for the Capitals. You're not here tomorrow, right, Jill?
I'm on Friday, yeah.
You're on Friday, so I want to get your pick for the Caps Penguins. But
I'm not here tomorrow either.
Okay, so let's talk Cap Penguins, but let's talk for a second about Boyle and Larry Brooks, can we? I mean, you saw what happened here, right? I mean, this was interesting. What are your thoughts on that, Russ?
Yeah, the thought is that.
And by the way, you saw what happened. You know,
yeah, I saw what happened. Dan Boyle, it's like, look, when you sign a contract towards the end of your career for that much money, going into one of the biggest media markets, even for hockey. In the world, it's the biggest media market, but not for hockey. But the idea is, you were in Tampa, you were in San Jose. Did you not think you were ever going to be under scrutiny if you didn't do well in that market? And so he didn't do well. And I think, was there probably a line that was crossed? Yes, I do think a line could be crossed. And I think that happened, but I don't think he needed to handle it that way. I think he could have done his press conference and at the end tell Larry what he thinks of him if that's what he felt like doing. But instead, he just looked like a rambling old guy, and they had to shut it down as far as camera-wise. And then, Pat Leonard tweeted later that, he said more things to other guys. So, like, we don't know everything that even happened, but it was ugly. And at the end of the day, he didn't play well, and he doesn't seem to own up to it, and that's part of this.
Well,
I agree. He said to Larry. So basically, what happened is he said, "I'm not going to talk to that guy, Larry Brooks. You've done nothing this year but try to. That's all you do. All you write is you just try to put people down. That's what you do. That's your game. And I'm not going to talk to him. A lot of you other guys I respect, but I'm not going to talk to him. I have the right not to talk to him." So this was the exit interviews, and it was out of the norm for sure. I mean, usually how this is handled, and I've seen it. I've seen this exact situation and been in exit interviews with people, and you have too, Russ, where there's a reporter that a guy just can't stand because he's been with him all year. Sometimes those guys get hired by TSN.
But he also called out a reporter that wasn't there either. And so, like, when you start doing things like that, it starts whittling away at any kind of respectability that you have. The other problem is when you sort of call on the Rangers to kick him out of the locker room, it's like, wait a minute, Dan Boyle. You've been there 2 years. Larry Brooks has been there 20 years. They're not going to kick out Larry Brooks for you. Sorry, it's just not going to happen.
No, that's.
Well, I know that a former NHLer, I heard him on the radio yesterday, and he said that Boyle should have handled it much better. He should have been more professional and just either ignored his questions or just given boilerplate answers and just. That's
usually what happens. Usually,
but you know what? I mean,
I've seen guys ignored. Like there was a certain writer in Philadelphia who now doesn't work and was hired by a bigger conglomerate in Canada, who I've seen ignored by people in exit interviews. Just
there is a Dan Boyle poem on Twitter. Adam J. Rader, a guy who's written some books with me, has written a Dan Boyle poem. If people want to read it, they can go check it out.
But you know what? I mean, from the player's point of view, I can understand it. If this is Dan Boyle's final moment, if he's retiring, then the thing that I want to do is get my last shot at somebody who ruined my final 2 years of my NHL career. It's emotionally cleansing. It's honestly, you held this back, you didn't say anything, and this guy made your last 2 years a bitter experience.
Right. And there is something to be said about that. I agree with you, Mike. I mean, and a lot of people were saying, no, this is not the way you want to be remembered. But you know what? It's not really the way Dan Boyle is going to be remembered. He's not really going to be remembered for his time as a Ranger. To be honest, I mean, he won a Stanley Cup in Tampa, was really good in Tampa, was a real reason they won that cup, and
he's really good with the Sharks. He was
really good with the Sharks too, and I think that we all know people in life that just will say what they feel, and that's what they're going to do. There's some that I'm sure the Rangers media people knew this was coming. Like, to me, that's one of the things. It sounded like Boyle had asked, I'm not going to talk to Brooks. There got a little bit of that, we don't know the background, but the way he was talking to the media guy that was running it for the Rangers, it sounded like he probably said, I'm not going to talk to Brooks. And then when Brooks was there, usually what would happen, the media guy would come to Brooks and say, listen, he's not going to talk to you. But Brooks would listen to that anyway. He would still go in. Right. But, it sounds like something. And, sometimes you just know people that are just honest. They don't care. They're going to go out that way, and that's fine. I agree with you, Mike. I'm not totally opposed to it. I think that, I think it was worth mentioning briefly there. Let's talk about Tampa. I mean, let's talk about Pittsburgh, and before we have our special guest visit us, we are going to let's talk about Pittsburgh and the Capitals. By the way, the matchup to this says the Caps win in 7. So, but that's this is going to be a heck of a series. What are your thoughts? Why don't you start with this one, Joe?
I don't like this one.
Yeah.
It's because it's too good. It's just. Yeah. I don't like making a pick on this one either because I think that everyone loves it. It's Ovechkin and Crosby. and I'm sure the NHL loves it. I'm also interested in Ovechkin Malkin more so. I have the Caps in 7. That is what I've picked. But gosh, I feel like every game is going to be one of those ones where it's like the Hawks and Blues, where it's like every game is just somebody else's game, and it's just a lucky bounce is more or less most of the time what gets it. They got one more goal, and the other team did just as much pressure on them. I'm picking the Caps because I have more faith in Holtby. I have way more faith in Holtby right now. That's the biggest question mark. And I like the Caps' physical play. I think that they know how to play physical and keep it under control. And I think that the Pens tend to get frustrated when the play gets too physical. And everyone's talking about how the Caps looked like they were stumbling almost against the Flyers, which you can say that if you want, but I think that the Flyers put up a fight. They had a great goalie those last couple of games, and I think that was the big difference there. And also, the Pens went against a banged-up Rangers team who I think we can all say Lundqvist wasn't Lundqvist. He was hurt. He definitely was hurt. So I think that it would have been a different stance if they played that well against a completely healthy Rangers team and a Lundqvist who can steal a game. That was not the Lundqvist that was playing. But that
like an 67 save percentage or something. It was
horrible, and they chased him out of the game. That said, though, my gosh, the Pens, they have 4 lines that are all playing like top lines. That is scary. That is very scary. And gosh, I just like Holtby better. I think it's, for me, it comes down to goaltending, and I can count on Holtby. I know he's going to be there, and he's going to not be human, more or less. He has crazy saves, and you can count on him in the game. So I have Caps in 7.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I just wrote about it on Sportsology. We're redoing Sportsology so people can go to sportsology.info. I had an exclusive with Johansson, and Marcus Johansson actually had 6 points in 6 games. He's their second leading scorer. Carlson's also got 6 points. He's only taken 9 shots because there's so many guys that take shots on that team, but he's got a lot of assists. And he's set up a lot of things on the power play. And so what I look at is the amount of depth that they have. And Johansson, when I asked him about Holtby, the amount of faith that they have in this guy is insane. And the fact that now he's been playing like this for more than a year, they know how to sort of play around him. Mm-hmm. That's something Pittsburgh doesn't really know with Matt Murray. Like, this is the unknown going into the second round of a playoffs. You're now facing a better, bigger team. You know, this is a greater challenge now for the kid. I love what Pittsburgh has done. Daly has helped bail them out. There's no question. Malkin and Crosby, if you match them up together, it's obviously dynamic. And Kessel is scoring like Kessel should. But, you know, the funny thing is it's no longer Crosby versus Ovechkin. It really isn't. I think, you know, now both of those guys are still great players, but there's a lot more to both of these teams. And the Caps really have big defense that could skate just as fast as Pittsburgh, and I go Caps in 7.
Mike?
Well, it's funny because looking at Murray and where Murray is, I mean, I hearken back to 2012 when sorry, I'm trying to concentrate here.
I'm trying so hard to focus on Mike. Ignore the chicken. Ignore the chicken already.
Well, why don't you let Mr. Chicken make his prediction?
No, I want to wait till you go first. Yeah, it's your show.
No, I can't keep a straight face with you.
I can't either.
So just make it pick, damn it.
Let's run Mr. Chicken before. Come on.
Well, what I was going to say was Matt Murray. If you remember Braden Holtby back in 2012. I mean, he was the reason why they beat Boston in 7 games. You know, Boston being the Stanley Cup champion, rookie goaltender in Holtby. Sort of the similar situation going on right now with Matt Murray. Matt Murray had a great series, came in after Zadkov had played the first 2 games, played very well. And, you know, he's sort of an unknown commodity. He's a very good young prospect, but young goaltenders, you know, it's really tough to advance further with a young goaltender he's still unproven. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of possibility in his career, but I think Holtby and his experience is going to be definitely a determining factor in this series. I think Washington is the deeper team, especially on defense. I know Alzner, there was some question whether he was going to play in the series, but I think they're deep on defense, and their forwards are just as good as Pittsburgh, so I agree, Capitals in 7. So now let's go to the poultry update here.
Pardon?
Make your pick, Russ the
Are
chicken.
you done yet?
Yes.
I can sit here all day, Mike. I can wait and wait and wait. You know. All right. So, first of all, let me get this straight, okay? all you haters out there, all you people out there who sit there and say, oh, that chicken doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. So cluck you.
Wow! Wow!
Some pent-up anger coming out, I see.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah, well, hey.
An angry bird.
I also feel like he's constantly giving us the finger when he's moving his hands.
No, it's hard when you only got. No, I'm not. I would never give a lady the finger, gentlemen. All right, so you want to hear my picks? Fine.
Yeah, please.
By the way, follow me at Russ the Chicken on Twitter. I don't follow back, but that's your problem.
At least he's honest, guys. At least he's honest.
Right, I am. I only follow my friends. If I haven't met you in person, you are nothing to me. Nothing. Alright, so anyway, let's start this thing. Okay, well, Tampa, Lightning, sports, and of course, you ever been around the Tampa buildings, around the arena there? Beautiful women, beautiful women. The chicks in Tampa are amazing. Not like those elderly Panthers fans. These are young, hip people. I'm going with the Lightning, and I'm going with them in 3 if I could. We won't see Steven Stamkos, but I do love Vladislav Nemechikov, and frankly, I find the Islanders quite foul. Foul. Yeah. I've said it. I feel that way. And what were you else talking about the Penguin series? Well, I am a big fan of Alexander Ovechkin. I've talked about it before. He's my guy, and I guess we have to stay with him on this series. But
This
I
could be the
do like
longest prediction.
Falcon sauce on my chicken. So yeah. Well, that's personal actually. So we'll talk about that one. Yeah, that's right. That's another story for another day. Me and the ladies, and by the way,
Was there a
Russ
pick?
doesn't
Was
owe
there
me-
a pick somewhere in there?
I think it was Alexander Ovechkin.
Give us a pick.
All right, Mike. Fine. I picked the Caps in 4. Shouldn't surprise anyone. I mean, Dick Crosby, he gives chicken a bad name. The truth.
All right.
Is there any way we can meet a chicken?
do my own podcast, like a book club type thing, and it'll be, we'll be reading like the finer, like impressionistic poets of the Middle Ages.
Okay. Thank you, Russ.
All right, let's cut them.
Yes, thank you, Russ the Chicken.
Let's cut 'em.
Okay.
What are you saying?
Why does Eck disappear every time this damn chicken? It's like he goes upstairs and the chicken takes over the show.
Chicken
Sleep up there, I think. He's just a loser.
Okay.
Anonymous hockey blogger blogging in his parents' basement, and that's what does. I'm just a chicken who lives with him, I guess.
Okay. Thanks, Russ. We'll see you at
Get
the
him back
end.
so we can end the show.
Remember, without the buzz.
Thanks. No, wait. We have to do the NHL draft lottery simulator here.
Yeah, come on, chicken.
Come on, get with the. Whoa. The chicken has destroyed Eck's computer. There you go.
It's a chicken takeover.
Yeah.
Yep, this.
Did I just see blood?
This is as funny as Eck falling off his chair.
By the way, guys, my boyfriend is homesick right now, and I just heard him laughing in the bedroom at this.
There you go. Okay, guys.
Hold on. I'll be right there.
Oh.
I've got the draft lottery simulator ready, Eck. So
All right, let's do it.
here we go. And the winner is the Montreal Canadiens.
What?
Second pick goes to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I know Jarmo Kekalainen will be very happy.
Yep.
And third is the Calgary Flames.
Okay.
Austin Matthews in Montreal would be a travesty, but okay, that's just my
Say
opinion.
that again.
Hey, isn't this egg season? Why don't you go lay an egg? Come on. Get out of here.
Excellent idea.
Is it?
Well, sign off, Russ. Sign off the show, Russ.
Remember, without the chicken, it's just hockey. Farewell, everyone. Enjoy the games. Remember to follow me and Puck Daddy on Twitter.
What?
Yeah,
What?
Puck Daddy. He's the better blogger and everything.